Hi, welcome to 7 Facts. This is the channel that holds the largest collection of facts about every country, state or territory in the world. Before we begin, I ask you to click the subscribe button. I upload 3 times a week every week, so there's plenty of content. French Guiana is an overseas department of France. If you're having trouble locating it, let me help you. It's in South America. French Guiana is as much a part of the European Union as Bavaria or Catalonia. Its highest legal authority is the Court of Justice in Strasbourg. Its agricultural and fishery policies are defined in Brussels, and its currency is the euro, the currency controlled by the European Central Bank in Frankfurt. French is the official language of the region, which is home to 282,000 people. But in all honesty, there are almost 24 languages spoken here, so to say the place is diverse is an understatement. It's not a small place either, it's about the size of Austria. The French originally came to the region at the end of the 17th century in search of rapid bounty. They did away with 10,000 native Indians and imported slaves from Africa to harvest sugar and coffee. But the crops failed and the slaves revolted and hung their masters from the branches of the native trees. After a couple of centuries though, a new plan for the territory was hatched, this one involving a penal colony that was intended to emulate Britain's success at Botany Bay. But the place refused to be a French equatorial version of Sydney, and instead killed off its prisoners by disease faster than the French criminal class could supply replacements. For instance, France transported approximately 56,000 prisoners to a place called Devil's Island. Fewer than 10% survived their sentence. The enterprise nevertheless struggled on for close to 100 years, cementing its international reputation for cruelty and maladministration. Cayenne is the capital city of French Guiana. The city had a very troublesome past. Ignored by Spanish explorers who found the region too hot and poor to be claimed, the region was not colonized until 1604, when a French settlement was founded. However, it was soon destroyed by the Portuguese. French colonists returned in 1643 and founded Cayenne, but they were forced to leave once more following native attacks. In 1664, France finally succeeded at establishing a permanent settlement at Cayenne, but over the next decade the colony changed hands between the French, Dutch and English before being restored to France. It was again captured by an Anglo-Portuguese force in 1809 and administered from Brazil until 1814, when it was returned to French control. From 1854 to 1938, it too was used as a French penal colony. Today though, the situation is much calmer, so you shouldn't worry about any invasions if visiting. French Guiana serves as the primary location for France's space activities. The Guiana Space Center sees several launches every year and has been operational since 1965, when Charles de Gaulle decided to establish the Guiana Space Center. Aside from the French Space Agency, CNES, the European Space Agency and the private companies Arianespace and Azer Cosmos also operate from this center. What makes this location unique is that it is so close to the equator that the planet actually gives launched rockets extra velocity due to its rotation. On a side note, in October 2018, the European and Japanese space agencies will launch their joint mission to explore Mercury, the Bepi Colombo, from this space center. And the world-famous and eternally postponed James Webb Space Telescope is also set to launch from the Guiana Space Center. French Guiana has a low population density, but it does have some incredible wildlife. It is home to many different ecosystems, from tropical rainforests to coastal mangroves, savannas, inselbergs, which are odd rock formations in the middle of level plains, and many types of wetlands. There is a high level of biodiversity in terms of both flora and fauna, due to the presence of old-growth ancient forests, which are biodiversity hotspots. 5,500 plant species have been recorded, including more than 1,000 trees, 700 species of birds, 177 species of mammals, over 500 species of fish, 45% of which are endemic, and 109 species of amphibians. This place competes with other famous regions like the Brazilian Amazon, Borneo, or Sumatra. This single French department has at least 98% of vertebrate fauna and 96% of vascular plants as found in all of France and its overseas territories. Despite the above-mentioned biodiversity, French Guiana is definitely not a place for agriculture. This place has some of the poorest soils in the world. The soil is very low in nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and organic matter. Soil acidity is another cause of the poor soils, and it requires farmers to add lime to their fields. All of these soil characteristics have led to the use of slash-and-burn agriculture, which basically means setting fire to the fields and forests. The resulting ashes lower soil acidity and contribute minerals and other nutrients to the soil, but it creates a lot of pollution, permanently destroying habitats, and it can get out of hand very easily. Sites of terra preta have been discovered in the region, and researchers are trying to determine how they were created, which would transform agriculture in the region. Terra preta is a type of very dark, very fertile artificial soil created by farmers thousands of years ago. Unfortunately, we can only make an educated guess as to how they were created, and for now, an exact recreation is out of our reach. In 2016, French Guiana ranked as the largest economy in the Guiana region and the 11th largest in South America. This is a bit odd and misleading, because French Guiana's economy is actually not doing so great. The region is heavily dependent on mainland France for subsidies, trade, and goods. There is very little manufacturing, and agriculture is undeveloped and very limited. There is hardly any tourism, not least because the sea is plagued by sharks and, inshore at least, is brown from river sediment. Roads down to Brazil are largely impassable, and among the territory's few reliable outlets to the world is the daily flight to Paris. Tourism is growing, however, especially ecotourism, and the local economy is becoming increasingly diversified, but there is still a long way to go. Their GDP per capita is at around half of mainland France's average, which, in all honesty, isn't that bad by global standards. These were 7 facts about French Guiana. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts downstairs in the comment section, and afterwards check me out on Facebook and Twitter. A good way to offer more support to this channel is through Patreon. The link is in the description. I hope to see you next time. Bye.